Shadows of Grizzle Heights. Chapter 1, The Vanishing. Max Smith stood at the edge of Grizzle Heights, staring at the dense, dark forest that seemed to devour the very light that touched its twisted trees. It was a place of legends and whispered myths, where the stories of ancient evils and restless spirits were passed down from generation to generation. Max's thoughts were interrupted by a sudden chill in the air, sending shivers down his spine. He had come to this forsaken place seeking answers to the string of disappearances that had plagued the nearby town. It all started 2 months ago when the first person, a young girl named Lily, went missing. Then, one by one, others vanished without a trace. Some whispered about the curse of Grizzle Heights, while others spoke of a mysterious cult that lurked in the shadows. Max, an amateur investigator with a passion for the occult, couldn't ignore the pull of the mystery that enveloped the town. As Max delved deeper into the investigation, he uncovered a tangled web of secrets and half-truths. He stumbled upon an old journal belonging to a long-deceased resident, which hinted at a dark pact made with an ancient entity residing in the heart of Grizzle Heights. The journal spoke of sacrifices and rituals, painting a gruesome picture of a power that demanded blood and souls to sustain its unholy existence. Determined to unearth the truth, Max ventured into the heart of the forest, guided only by his unwavering resolve and a dim lantern that struggled to penetrate the thick fog. Whispers seemed to follow him, taunting him with promises of answers and doom. As he pressed on, he encountered strange symbols etched into the gnarled trees and disfigured effigies hanging from the branches, symbols of a forgotten faith that had turned to madness. With each step, the forest seemed to twist and contort, warping reality into a nightmarish labyrinth. Max's grip on reality slipped, and he found himself questioning his own sanity. Was it the forest playing tricks on his mind, or was there truly a malevolent force at work? As the night deepened, Max stumbled upon an ancient stone altar, the centerpiece of a clearing bathed in an otherworldly glow. Around it stood hooded figures, chanting in a language that sent a surge of primal fear coursing through his veins. Among them was the mayor, a respected figure in the town, who had long been suspected of hiding dark secrets. With the realization dawning on him, Max knew that he had stumbled upon the heart of the terror-gripping Grizzle Heights. As he attempted to flee, the ground beneath him trembled, and the forest itself seemed to come alive, ensnaring him in its grasp. Max realized that he had become part of the sacrifice, destined to feed the insatiable hunger of the ancient entity that lurked within Grizzle Heights. In the final moments of his struggle, Max's thoughts raced back to the town he had left behind, wondering if anyone would ever uncover the truth of the horrors that haunted the cursed forest. With a desperate last breath, he let out a silent prayer, hoping that his sacrifice would bring an end to the terror that gripped Grizzle Heights, even if it meant that his own story would be lost to the shadows forever. The morning sun rose over Grizzle Heights, casting a warm glow that seemed to dispel the eerie shadows of the forest. In the small town below, a sense of unease lingered, a collective awareness of the recent disappearances and the absence of Max Smith, the valiant investigator who had dared to venture into the heart of darkness. Amelia Carter, a local journalist with an inquisitive spirit, couldn't shake off the feeling of foreboding that permeated the air. Max had been a friend, a kindred spirit who had often shared his theories and findings with her. Amelia couldn't bear the thought of leaving the truth buried beneath the weight of fear and superstition. Determined to pick up where Max had left off, she delved into his notes and gathered the fragments of the puzzle he had left behind. The more she uncovered, the more she realized that the horrors of Grizzle Heights were deeply intertwined with the town's history, a history that had been carefully obscured and manipulated by those in power. Amelia's investigations led her to a reclusive old librarian, Mrs. Elspeth, who was rumored to have knowledge of the town's forgotten past. Mrs. Elspeth, though initially reticent, eventually opened up to Amelia, revealing a tale of an ancient curse that had befallen the founding families of Grizzle Heights. She spoke of a pact made generations ago, a pact that had been broken by greed and ambition, unleashing a darkness that had slumbered for centuries. Armed with this newfound knowledge, Amelia delved deeper into the archives, unearthing accounts of unexplained phenomena and strange occurrences that had plagued the town since its inception. She uncovered accounts of disappearances dating back decades, all tied to the same malevolent presence that Max had encountered in the heart of the forest. As Amelia's pursuit of the truth intensified, so did the whispers that seemed to follow her every step. Strange symbols began to appear in her home, and the townsfolk started to regard her with a mixture of fear and suspicion. Undeterred, she sought out the help of a retired professor of folklore, Dr. Benedict, whose expertise in the occult and ancient rituals proved invaluable in deciphering the cryptic clues left behind by Max. Together, they pieced together a ritual, a means to banish the darkness that had plagued Grizzle Heights for generations. It required a sacrifice, not of blood, but of the truth. They needed to expose the dark secrets that the town had buried beneath layers of denial and ignorance. As the night of the ritual approached, a palpable tension gripped the town. The forest seemed to stir with a newfound restlessness, as if aware of the impending reckoning. Amelia and Dr. Benedict stood at the edge of Grizzle Heights, facing the ancient trees that loomed like silent sentinels guarding a terrible secret. With the townsfolk gathered behind them, Amelia and Dr. Benedict began the ritual, invoking the spirits of the past and calling upon the forces of light to cleanse the darkness that had taken root in Grizzle Heights. The forest echoed with a cacophony of unearthly cries and spectral visions, testing their resolve and threatening to consume them in a maelstrom of chaos. In the climax of the ritual, the ground trembled, and a blinding light erupted from the heart of the forest. Shadows writhed and twisted, clawing at the edges of reality, only to be banished by the collective will of the townsfolk who had finally chosen to confront the truth. As the last remnants of the darkness dissipated, the townsfolk felt a weight lift from their shoulders, a burden that had oppressed them for generations. Amelia looked around, her eyes meeting those of the grateful townsfolk, and for a moment, she felt the presence of Max, a silent acknowledgement of their shared determination to bring the truth to light. Grizzle Heights remained a place of mystery and shadows, but the grip of the ancient curse had finally been broken. Amelia knew that the town would heal, that it would rebuild itself upon the foundation of honesty, and months had passed since the night the darkness was banished from Grizzle Heights. The town, once shrouded in fear and secrecy, now basked in the warmth of newfound hope and unity. The disappearance of Max Smith had become a poignant memory, a reminder of the sacrifices made in the pursuit of truth and redemption. Amelia Carter, now hailed as the town's savior, continued her work as a dedicated journalist, shedding light on the hidden stories and forgotten histories that lay dormant within the town's archives. She wrote a detailed exposé, chronicling the events that had unfolded in the heart of Grizzle Heights and the courage of those who had stood against the darkness. Her words resonated with readers far and wide, inspiring others to confront their own demons and seek solace in the embrace of honesty. In the wake of the town's transformation, a newfound sense of camaraderie flourished among the townsfolk. They banded together to restore the dilapidated structures and breathe life back into the heart of their community. The forest, once a place of dread, now beckoned adventurers and nature enthusiasts with its mysterious beauty and enigmatic charm.